You're listening to another Geek Pride podcast.
Hi everybody, I'm This is episode 6.5. 6.5 because we had, in fact, this episode is going to be called #tribute because it is not the greatest podcast in the world. It is just a tribute because
I think it's a bit disingenuous to call the last podcast the greatest podcast in the world, if I'm honest.
But it was pretty good.
It was all right.
It was pretty damn good,
It
let's
was all
be
pretty
honest.
good. And then a certain people who will remain nameless, Sean Wallace, who has technical issues when it comes to
just in
life.
Just life, yeah.
Technical issues.
I'm surprised you started this, because in the last podcast we agreed that you leading it was a recipe for disaster.
That was agreed until you decided to corrupt your files, and currently, when it comes to podcasts, you don't have a good record for recording. The last one we did with you forgot to press record, and then this one, and the one we did yesterday, which we have to repeat now, your file corrupted.
Oh, are we just repeating it then? We're just trying to get a facsimile of what we did before.
Yeah, totally.
Get the magic.
Okay. Lads, let's be honest, right? It's normally better if I lead a podcast. I'm just saying the best.
Well,
ones
you're all
normally
being
the ones that are
overruled.
led by me.
You're all being overruled, motherfuckers, because I'm here now,
That makes a change.
and I'm here. This is Nightmat.
Fighter of the day, man. Champion of the sun.
Champion of the night.
Champion of the night. All right. Okay, I don't even know. We literally yesterday's field podcast was just about dick jokes pretty much the whole way through.
Well, there was. Can I just recap of what the last podcast was about? Yeah. It was about the fact that Matt isn't actually a sexist. He just doesn't do a lot to prove that he isn't. But we can all vouch for the fact that he is genuinely a nice person. Really. You just have to look past the schoolboy sheen. I do a cracking announcer voice, both excited promoter of DFS sofas and epic movie guy. I might do it a little bit later, depends on how I feel.
I think you should do this part in a pronouncer voice.
And the locker room talk isn't about pussies, it's about dicks, and the length of dicks, and the cums. All of the cums, all the time.
Yeah, I think we actually referenced Legolas jerking off a bunch of elephants, and then the Pelennor fields being flooded with elephant jizz. And I
think I sent you when I sent you my audio file for you to edit down before Sean just decided fuck it, why not. I think the name I gave it was Mike Orvis Seas of Cum. So you currently have an email sat from WeTransfer saying Mike Orvis Seas of Cum.
Brilliant.
You're welcome.
There's going to be the guys in WeTransfer are going to be going, we should totally open this up.
And they're going to be bitterly disappointed just to hear me breathing between takes, me about to speak, and then me doing terrible announcer voices.
By the way, Mike Orvis Seas of Cum sounds like the name of your first solo album.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, most solo albums are horrendous, like frenetic wanking. So
I do not want to see the cover photo for that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you fucking do, Bevan. Don't give me that bullshit.
No.
Or I'm lying.
And then I'll sell the video. Then I'll sell the board game rights to you, and it'll be incredible.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
I'm sensing a lot of wrist restraints will have to be put in.
I'm gonna roll for
Seas
cum. It's a
Seas
6.
of Cum. My God, what a
gone
game
everywhere.
for all the family.
For all of you who don't know, on tonight's podcast, 6.5, bigger, better, and less dick jokes, we have Mike Orvis.
Hello.
We have Sean Wallace.
Otherwise known as Failure Incarnate.
Correct.
And we have Bevan Cletworthy.
Hi guys.
Okay, gentlemen. To business. News. What do you got?
Well, let's address one
All right.
thing before we continue. Bevan, you've actually started watching Rick and Morty at our prior recommendation on the podcast that shall not be named.
Yes.
Yes, I have. I'm lost. I'm 3 episodes in, and I have no idea what's going on. So it doesn't appear like they go in any sort of order.
Oh, they
But,
do link together though. That's the thing.
they?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Bevan, it's like Adventure Time. It's complete randomness, and then it'll all kind of start to make sense towards the end of season 1, and you'll go, "Holy shit balls, this is incredible." So
Right.
you've watched Lawnmower Dog, you've watched the pilot, and you've watched.
I'm halfway through the one where they're in like a simulation.
Yeah, M Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Cracking episode.
The dog one I thought was brilliant. What's his name?
testicles,
Snuffles. Changed his name to Snowball.
Snowball. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my slave name.
Yeah. Where are my testicles? Where are my testicles, Summer?
You know, that was the guy who voiced Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
No way,
Yes,
is it?
indeed.
No,
Yeah.
awesome.
Maurice LaMarche.
Wow. We're gonna have to do a Pinky in the Brain sort of impression now. Can somebody do a Pinky in the Brain impression? Go on, Mike. I know you can.
I love the fact that you're like somebody.
Like Orvis.
Oh,
I mean,
one of us has been paid to do voices. Fuck you. Hang on. What do we do tonight, Brian? The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Yeah.
And sounded
cats
the guy
crack both
from
ways?
sounded like the guy from Police Academy slightly.
Yeah.
What, Bobcat Goldthwait? Right, yeah. Okay, I'll take that.
All right. This was some before we move on. No, actually, while we move on, part of the news, something we didn't mention yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my god, I was in bed. We missed this shit." The Rogue One trailer just blew up recently. What did you all think?
I've purposefully not watched it.
I thought it was definitely more Star Wars. So I mean, that's good. I think. I mean, I was actually going to save this opinion for a Gentlemanly Chats because I sort of want to ruminate upon it at length with sort of maybe one other guest who's as geeky as sort of you guys. But I think we're starting to see the wane of geek being chic.
You reckon?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
And why does that come with Rogue One and Star Wars?
Because of it's not just that. I've seen a couple of other things. Westerns are on the rise if you've been paying attention to films.
Yep.
And that's kind of the antithesis of the superhero movie. It's like this is gritty and down to earth. The Jack Reacher series of films, which are terrible. My dad fucking loves them. I'm like, what? Why? But yeah, the Jack Reacher series of films, the Twitter marketing campaign was something. The tagline was akin to like no cape, no mask, no problem, or something like that. But there's already becoming this anti like, oh, heroes are the norm, superheroes are the norm. Let's lose the mask and the capes and go for like action heroes again. And I think this being a for want of a better expression, a non-main canon Star Wars film, I think that people are going to go in. Idiots are going to go in expecting to see the droids and to see lightsabers, and I think the addition of Vader he isn't going to get much screen time, and the addition of Vader was kind of a bit of a last minute. I don't think he was meant to be there at the start. I think originally they were going to do a film about the guys from Rebels, and that's what this was supposed to be, as far as I was aware.
What?
And then
Rebels
sort of
as in the
changed
cartoon?
Yeah. That's what I'd heard Rogue One was originally going to be.
All right, okay.
Yeah. And I just think that the interest in Star Wars when people watch this film is going to wane a little bit, unfortunately, and then that's going to be it.
Interesting.
Sean says, sadly, my internet is being super slow.
Oh, great. Sean again. So basically, Sean kills it all for us yesterday, and now his internet's being slow.
He's talking again. Hang on a second. I'm gonna just channel Sean. I know.
So basically, he can hear us.
Yeah, but he can't speak, which is probably the best.
Well, you see, there you go.
Best, really.
That's all right. You can't fuck things up again.
So, yeah,
Fuck you guys too.
Per Sean.
I think public opinion of it is going to wane, because Star Wars, it's going to be great for people like me and you and Bevan and Sean, us geeks are going to be like, holy shit, this is cool. This is more addition to the Star Wars canon, but it's not going to have the big lightsaber fights. It's not going to have, you know, the iconic lines.
It's going to be more like a war
use the
film.
Force.
It's going to be like an old school war film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be like ground-based stuff, no Force, no nothing. It's literally just going to be a bunch of guys at the odds against the Imperial Army. Yeah, it's literally going to be an old school war film.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sort of heralds the end or the beginning of the end for geek culture, though.
No, not for geek culture. I think we're still going to continue going strong, and I think we've garnered a whole new subset of humans into our little collective orb. But I think that the normie, the cultural penetration of geekdom is perhaps either being engineered or is naturally coming to a bit of a wane. I don't think it's as popular as it was in, say, maybe 2013 or 2012.
Do you think that this is completely off the point about Star Wars, but do you think that it has anything to do with that Geek being chic has coincided with Big Bang Theory being quite a popular TV show?
Fuck Big Bang Theory. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, if any of you listen to my other podcast for the Geek Pride News Network, it's not fucking News Network, for the Geek Pride Network, Gentlemanly Chats, I did a whole episode with my friend Jade Rose about why Big Bang Theory is basically the most offensive thing to nerds in the world.
It is.
Yeah.
To be honest, I enjoy it, right? But I can see how, as a geek, it sort of emphasizes all of our foibles and isms and picks fun at them, and then sort of, for me, I can see the funny side of it because I'm a geek and I can laugh at myself. But obviously, I understand that it may do damage because it makes other people think that that's who we are, and that's what
we're still the joke, Matt. Yeah. That's the problem I have with it. That's the main problem I have with it.
But that doesn't sort of answer the question, because obviously, irrespective if people like it, you like it or not, geeks like it or not, do you think it's had an impact on sort of making geek culture more acceptable, or at least more palatable?
I think 1 in 10, yes. I think 10% of it, yes, absolutely. It's opened the door for a few people who are just watching a dumb comedy show to go, that Star Wars thing looks cool. I like that Batman statue. I'm going to read more about it. Or what are these comics they're talking about? You know, yes, 1 in 10. But I think on the whole, and it's a vast majority of the whole, it's just Chuck Lorre making geeks the joke. He's just sort of tried to drag it into the 21st century, and has, in my opinion, completely failed.
Do you know, I think the Marvel films themselves have probably done more good in terms of pulling people into the genre, simply because things I mean, Iron Man 1 with the origin story, you know, you've got this cool, suave, big actor playing the main part, and you absolutely nailed it. Well, actually, sorry to be that guy.
You are that guy.
Like, I'm going to push my glasses up. I'm not wearing glasses at the moment, but if I was, I'd push them to my bridge of my nose. Robert Downey Jr. was a complete fucking left field choice. The whole reason Robert Downey Jr. has a career again, it's because of Iron Man. Jon Favreau took a massive fucking chance. No one wanted to touch RDJ not with someone else's dick, you know? Like, he was a fucking crazy guy who was robbing, he was hooked on a gazillion drugs, he was a fucking wreck, he was a burnt out fucking wreck. And Jon Favreau saw something in him and just went, no, I need, if it's going to be someone, it's going to be RDJ. And that's because Jon Favreau completely understands who Tony Stark is as a character. And Tony Stark is a fucking broken individual who will never match up to his father. What the fuck is Robert Downey Jr. if not a broken individual who doesn't feel that he can match up to his father?
That's great. Yeah,
we literally see his redemption. We see Robert Downey Jr.'s hero's journey as well as Tony Stark's hero's journey in the film The First Iron Man, and it's incredible.
Wow.
And that's why he's so appealing. That's why he's so culturally penetrative. That's why people fell in love with it, because it's kind of hard to see where Tony Stark ends and Robert Downey Jr. begins in that respect.
Sean agrees with you, by the way.
The ghost of Sean.
The ghost of Sean. He's typing. I don't know if you can hear me, but Mike is right. Saying that, I'm saying this, but obviously because he should be recording his audio. Then
Oh my god, there's like a secondary podcast of just Sean going, these fucking wankers. Honestly.
he's just talking to. He's put an emo haircut emoji going on. He's blowing it now.
Amazing.
Yeah, but okay, back to Star Wars. As a film,
if we must,
as a film, do you think it looked good? Do you think it looked better? What would you do? What do you say compared to, say, The Force Awakens, trailer wise and stuff?
Okay, you go first, Bevan, because I've talked a lot.
Well, I've not actually seen the trailer for Rogue One yet.
What?
Seriously, I thought I saw a picture of there was like a lady in black stormtrooper armor, and that was about as much as I've seen of it.
Well, see, that's the thing, isn't it? You saw the trailer for Star Wars 7. You saw all three of them. You got mad fucking hype. You're like, oh my fucking word. I remember like looking at that trailer and being like, Jesus Christ. I rolled a tear. That first trailer, there has been an awakening. I was like, fuck me. But Rogue One, I saw that trailer on my social media roll for about half a day before I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll check that out. And that's what I mean. I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. I've had many an argument. There's even, if you go back into the archives, there's a Geek Pride podcast episode called Grey Jedis, because I brought up the subject of the Grey Jedi. Blew Matt's mind.
It did, and I'm going as a Grey Jedi for my Halloween party because of that.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Sweet.
Ouroboros.
I even looked into it and stuff. I looked into like the Imperial Knights and stuff, and I was like, Grey Jedi seem well down my street, man.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's what's really interesting about Rebels at the moment, and actually, what was incredibly interesting about the 3D Clone Wars, the Dave Fiori Clone Wars. Is that it really did tackle the subject of what is the light and the dark side of the Force. Are they good and evil, or are they just an emotional spectrum? And if it is just an emotional spectrum, then clearly the Grey Jedi is the path forward.
Ooh,
clearly,
yeah. Because
you've got to be in check of all your emotions. You've got to use to become a true peacekeeper. You've got to use all your emotions. Anger is a perfectly fine emotion to have. I know. Me saying this is but like you need righteous anger. You need fear because you need a healthy fear of the unknown. But you also need to combat that with hope.
But you notice that in a lot of the films, when they have to overcome their big foe, they use anger to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're told they shouldn't be angry and stuff, but they all do it. Like Obi-Wan uses anger to defeat Darth Maul. Luke Skywalker uses anger to defeat Darth Vader. And it's about using that anger and then zenning and stopping and just going, right, that's it, I've used it.
I'm sorry, where does Luke beat Darth Vader?
In Return of the Jedi.
His hand off.
Yeah.
He's fighting him, but then the Emperor intervenes.
Yeah, but he basically gets him down to the point where he's cut his hand off and he's basically at his mercy. He could kill him.
Yeah,
then does it. He says he won't kill him. He could kill him, but he didn't.
No, I still think that's.
I preferred it when you were. I preferred it when you were typing, Sean.
I think, especially with the added content of Star Wars 7, we've really, because for the first time we've seen the dark side actually say, I'm being tempted by the light. I think it's almost, and well, I mean, you could argue for days that everything is religion, but Jedi is being sort of portrayed as a religion, and if you cut off a certain aspect of humanity, then you deny that which makes you human. So the fact that this is the light side, this is you've got to follow all these good feelings. Well, then of course the Skywalkers get tempted by the dark side. Of course, Kylo Ren gets tempted by the dark side, because if you're being told expressly no, that's forbidden, then it is human fucking nature to go, oh, well, what's this? And if you believe in the Star Wars mythos, then, the soul, as it were, it was created by the Force. So, it's the Force is constantly seeking a balance. So, of course, people from the light are being tempted by the dark. And that's why, again, I'm going to go back to my original point. Grey Jedis are the way forward. You need balance to the Force. You need to utilise all of the entire spectrum of everything that the Force has to offer, or that you can channel through yourself. Otherwise, you will fall victim to your own
Hubris.
That's exactly the word I was looking for. Thank you.
I find your views intriguing, and I would like to subscribe to your newsletter.
You can find me at _dark_Mike on Twitter, and listen to Gentlemanly Chats, an almost weekly podcast if Matt gives me the right to use YouTube again.
You were meant to show me that yesterday, and you fucked off.
Well, sorry, I got a phone call. It was rather important.
Oh, right. Booty call, was it?
No, it wasn't a booty call. Because I'm not 15.
Well, when it comes this, I actually prefer the look of Rogue One to Force Awakens. I love Force Awakens, and I saw it 6 times, but because I'm a big fan of my old school war films and stuff.
6 times?
Yeah, I saw it 6 times.
Crikey.
Yeah, it got a bit boring after the 5th time. Hey,
this is boring. I'm going to watch it one more time.
Yeah, it wasn't forced. It was basically I'd been to see it. I saw it with my family. Then I saw it with like Russell and that lot when we all went down the road. Had a big group 12 o'clock screening thing. Then I went with my family. Then I went with one of my other mates who hadn't seen it. And then there was all these other mates. Oh man, have you seen Star Wars? Do you want to come with me? And I'm like, oh, I've got to. Don't I really? And then
so you're like the token geek in all of your friendship groups.
Pretty much, yeah.
And Matt will go.
Matt will go. Have you seen Star Wars? Yeah, 5 times. Do you want to go and see it again? Okay. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Sean wants to know how many booty calls did Mike have when he was 15?
Oh, mate, let me, honestly, Christian camp. That's all I'm saying, Christian camp.
I'm not sure if that means that, hiya fellas, this is Christian camp.
No, I'm talking like puritanical, revivalist, evangelical Christians who all gather in tents and sing Christian rock, and then you're like, I'm moved by the Lord, and then you're all like hella emotional, and then you just make out with everyone after hours because you're like, it's a sin. Oh, the guilt.
So we're going back to the Grey Jedi again, aren't we? It's the whole like,
exactly.
You shouldn't do that. It's like if you tell a toddler, if you climb that, you're going to break your neck. And the first thing that goes, will I?
Well, yeah, no, I like that, the whole Jedi thing. And when you did say about it, that podcast, Mike, it did blow my fragile little mind because I was like, that is amazing. I love that. I love the way they have a sort of middle ground. Because I'm a middle ground sort of guy. And I like middle ground people because it looks like they're sort of, thinking about things instead of being blindly faithful to one side or another. They're taking into 2 sides and weighing it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. Yes. Yeah. What middle ground guy who goes with left field women? Sean, we were having a very sort of intellectual conversation. It was very deep. We weren't going to go into things like that. That was yesterday. The podcast that you killed. The podcast that is now buried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should just release I'll tell you what, like I said I was going to do with the Rocket League that you did for Play Expo, I will just record all of Sean's parts.
Yes, all right, cool. I'll
So we'll keep the podcast, and I'll just do all of Sean's parts, but I'll just be like incredibly puerile and just go.
Amazing.
Because that would be funny for all of 5 minutes, and then they go, all right, I appreciate your dedication to a joke, Mike. You literally just went for an hour.
So what was he doing the impression there? He just sounded normal.
Burn.
I didn't realise it was 2003.
Your stupid head. All right, moving on. Anybody else got some news for us?
I can't remember what I spoke about yesterday.
What did you speak about yesterday? It was obviously that important. We talked about dinosaurs and the dinosaur T-Rex. The T-Rex thing. Basically, what happened is it was on Facebook, so it's obviously true, and it wasn't one of these like Daily Mash things. It was a proper news site.
Have you Snopes this?
Have I Snoped this? What's that?
Yeah.
What is it?
Snopes?
Yeah, what is that?
Buddy, Snopes. Snopes is a website where you can type in. It's like a search bar for bullshit.
Okay, I tell you what.
So
I'll explain it. You Snope it, and then we'll say right. So basically, while Mike sort of looks at it,
ignore the sounds of clicking.
Yeah. What happened was I saw an article online that basically some scientists in America had got some old T-Rex DNA from some bone marrow or something, and they'd implanted it into a chicken embryo. And basically we're genetically modifying a chicken because obviously chickens and dinosaurs have a lot in common, and they were sort of trying to become a chicken T-Rex hybrid of some sort.
See, I made this joke yesterday, but we've all seen the documentary, right?
Yeah. Go on, mate.
Tyrannosaurus Rex reports that scientists creates the first fully living dinosaur embryo in millions of years using DNA from chicken skin are fake news.
Boom.
Claim researchers in North Carolina have created the first fully living dinosaur embryo in millions of years using DNA from chicken skin. It is false. The origin was from the 15th of April 2016. The World News Daily Reporter website published an article reporting that scientists in North Carolina, blah, 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 blah. World News Daily Report is a fake news site and the story was completely fabricated, but the article gained enough traction online that North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences published a statement informing the public it was a hoax.
Damn it! That would have been really interesting. Well,
Bullshit.
Well, there you go. We've learned that we've questioned it and we've found it's false.
I was listening to another podcast from a rival geek site, so we won't talk about it. That had Chris Pratt in it, and they were talking about Jurassic Park 4. Now, Jurassic World. Now he's like a total sort of bastion of geek, and when they were approached about it, the director as well was in it. Forgotten his name. Whoever directed Jurassic World, Colin, whatever. And they were talking about Jurassic World and like why they would do it, and they were saying, well, it's just about the corporation wanting money, and that's why Jurassic World is just about we're reopening the park, and everyone's going, this is a stupid idea. It's actually an allegory for the director and the writers going, why are you doing another Jurassic Park film? This is a stupid idea. Please stop exploiting the dinosaurs. Which is why it all falls to shit.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that was very good actually. Yeah.
Self-referential, right. Is that the correct term? Have I got that right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to sound smart.
No. Yeah. Oh, we got another message from Sean.
Meta.
He's right. It is quite meta. Speaking of meta, mechs. Look at that brilliant segue. Well done, me. Bevan, you were talking about a new type of board game. I'm just taking over the podcast.
I was about to say, it's like you're almost professional here. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, you were talking yesterday about a new board game, and I'm going to use a swear word now, by the creators of League of Legends. Sorry, everyone.
Oh.
Do you want to expand on that at all?
Yeah, sure. So we know League of Legends is, well, it's been purported as the biggest video game in the world at the moment, with like something like 10 or 20 million players or something ridiculous.
I think you'll find that Twitter is the biggest video game in the world. Never mind.
Okay, carry on.
Sorry, that's a Charlie Brooker joke.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Oh, we were talking about Black Mirror yesterday as well, so we got to bring on that one.
Cool.
Yep, sorry, Bevan, carry on.
Go. So the guys over at League of Legends, several of them are avid board gamers as well. And what they've done is they've designed a game called Mechs vs. Minions. Now, this is going to be a program movement game, fully co-op, where you're going to play the part of these sort of 5 mech characters, piloting these mechs to try and defeat the minions that are part of the MOBA game itself, the ones that are sort of blowing up all the towers and everything. And I just want to read to you the list, and then you guys already know, but you tell me how much you think this should be worth.
I'll make it up. It'll be fine.
Fantastic. Okay, cool.
Lion face. Lemon face. Right, okay, I'm ready.
Right, I'm going to tell you what's in the box. Right, so we've got the 5 mechs, which are fully painted, fully moulded miniatures. Wow. 100 minion miniatures, 1 bomb piece miniature, 4 crystal shards, 1 gear tracker, 2 gear rings, 4 rune coins, 96 command cards, 55 damage cards, 40 schematic cards, 5 map tiles, the school, 1 colour compass, 5 command lines, 2 numbered dice, 2 rune dice, Sonia's minute glass, 1 rulebook, 1 tutorial, 10 mission envelopes, 1 review, game trays.
Was that all in one breath?
No.
You literally heard him take a breath.
I wasn't paying attention. I was watching Anchorman.
Oh my god! So you just tuned out. How rude!
I'm sorry.
I've
got this, like, my special power is that I can literally tune out the things I'm not interested in. Only joking, Beth.
Oh my! Right, that is it. Where's the off button? Click.
Boss of Geek Pride, ladies and gentlemen. Boss.
No. It sort of brings me to the question I said to you yesterday, Bev. Would you prefer a game where you had it was cheaper, but you had sort of maybe less things in it, so like card games or something like that, or prefer something much more expensive, but you got a fuck ton of stuff in it, like that box?
Well, just to sort of bring back very slightly, just before your question, on the Mechs and Minions thing, right? How much do you think that would cost you?
£70,000.
I'm going to go for. I'm going to take a punt at this, Bev. £75.
Damn it!
Okay,
I'm going to take a better punt at it, Bev, and say it's $75.
Oh,
75 euros. I just say 75
well done.
euros.
Slam dunk. Anyway, yeah. So the game is retailing at $75 or 75 euros if you're over here. Postage and packaging was like negligible as well. And the problem it's causing is that in the business, it's caused a bit of controversy because several smaller publishers are now getting stick from sort of, the consumer who is now saying, hold on, how can they cram all that in the box for just $75 and you're charging me £100 for fewer miniatures, less, lower quality components, that kind of thing. And it turns out that these guys are just doing it for fun. So they're going to be making peanuts off of each copy. They're not going to be making much money at all. They just wanted to do something cool and get it out there and let people have a play, and it's caused this
also
strange...
they literally sleep on beds of fucking cash.
Exactly.
So you can literally just sneeze and you've probably got enough to fund 12 Kickstarters. So yes, of course, those of you kicking off about it, you're fucking stupid.
It's just crazy.
If you go to Asda and get a 12 pack of not Richmond but Asda own brand Richmond sausages for 12p, and they're basically sawdust and the tears of Vietnamese working children, or you can go to your local butcher and you probably spend about £4 or £5 on getting something that actually was killed that day. The point is, of course something that's mass produced can come down in price, but you need to support your local indie developers. And I'm talking video games, board games, Bevan. Buy Ghostal. It's very good. From what I've seen, I didn't manage to get a copy of my own. I was very poor when you did the Kickstarter. Basically, you picked the worst time. I was moving house. I lost a girlfriend.
Sounds like lame excuses. Sounds like lame excuses to me.
Where's your copy, Matt?
I ordered a copy, actually. Thank you very much.
Yeah?
You
got it?
Didn't I, Bev?
High five.
I? Yeah.
Don't high five. I'm trying to help you. Pick a fucking side, Bev.
Never. I am middle ground. I am Grey Jedi. I am going right down the middle of this bullshit.
Fuck, he's used a reference I used. Shit. But yeah, if you support musicians, any creatives, any independent person doing a thing, if they're providing a customer service, then fucking put your hand in your pocket for that little bit extra.
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just, they're just doing, I think someone came out with the figures and the numbers. League of Legends and the company that runs it, Riot Games, is worth roughly the same amount as the entire hobby board game industry.
Yeah.
So, they could literally buy the whole thing.
Where did it come from, by the way? Because I knew, obviously, Dota came from basically Warcraft, wasn't it? So it was basically a mod of Warcraft, and it became a thing. And then suddenly Dota wasn't really a thing anymore, and suddenly League of Legends was this huge thing.
Well, it's just been a heavily supported game that it's one of those games that's taken whatever Dota was trying to show off and has just made it better. They've made it their own.
So basically stole an idea and made shitloads more cash out of it.
Yeah,
steal, modify. It's like this whole idea of we're constantly improving. So they made a game that was better than the original. So
somebody turned around and went, "I've got a game called Dinosaur Tale, and it's about dinosaurs in a hotel trying to eat guests and stuff, and it was similar to Ghostal, but it was slightly better. Would you not be slightly pissed off?
No, I'd high five the guy or lady, whoever came up with it. No, seriously, that's the board gaming industry is exactly the same. There is constant iteration. I mean, the original deck builder was Dominion, but in my opinion, Ascension and the DC deck builder are both better deck building games. So that's just the way it goes. That's if someone will take your example and emulate it and then improve upon it, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I was reading an article today on I think it's a website called Time Amount. I might be completely wrong about that, but it's talking about how you get people to sort of buy your product by emotionally engaging them. But it's also talking about alternative marketing methods and how if you can improve upon a thing and revolutionize it, then do that. But if you can't, don't do it. And I think the greatest example of that is any Steam Greenlight trailer. For those of you that play Steam games, I would suggest following a YouTuber called Jim Sterling. If you don't know who that is, he does a series called The Jimquisition, but he also does Steam Greenlight trailers, and you can see horrendous games that are cheap knockoffs of other games. But the point is, if you can improve upon a thing, then of course, because then you're driving innovation in your field. because that should make the other guys go, oh fuck, we better
exactly
either up our game.
Yep.
Or so if Dinosaur Stall is incredible, then Bevan will be like, oh fuck, Ghost Stall 2 or the spiritual successor to Ghost Stall or something completely different needs to be better than this.
Yep.
And competition drives innovation.
I have to say, Bev, I'm for all of you who don't know, Bevan, is it a company? Is that what you do for a living, basically?
Oh no, this is entirely sort of
separate,
hobby kind of thing at the moment.
So basically, Bev and his friends have created a game called Ghost Tell. Do you want to give us a quick synopsis of the game, Bev, while you're there?
Elevator pitch, go.
It's an area control game where players take the part of ghosts trying to scare guests out of a hotel. Depending on how well you move around the hotel, use your phobias, use your special powers, you will score points. The person with the most points at the end wins.
And it's been
10 seconds.
Yeah,
well done.
And it has been successful. It's been kickstarted, and we will be getting our copies in April of next year.
Well, we're booked for April, but fingers crossed, don't try on everyone. Hopefully, before January.
Oh, brilliant! Okay.
Wow.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Good times.
But so that's I like that because I've been saying for years, like years and years and years, I love board games, and me and my brother sort of used to tinker around with making our own and stuff like that. And I've always said to myself, one of these days I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make a board game, and it's going to be stupidly complicated, and it's going to have a million miniatures in it, and it's going to have all kinds of crazy stuff, and nobody's going to play it, but I'm going to have made my own board game. And then you get that whole, but it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of this. And do you know what's actually happened? Me and a couple of my friends, Ben Fee, myself, and two of my other mates who are in my gaming group, we have sort of started looking into actually doing something. And I've built up sort of background stories for... Okay, I'll give you my... One of the games, right? It's called Revelations. Okay, now Revelations, in my mind, is going to be a sort of kind of grand strategy type game. Okay, so the way I envisage it is a lot of games start off with there's restrictions. You can't, because of the model size or because of this, that, and the other, you can't expand, or there's certain things that stop you from doing it. And my sort of whole thing is that you can have the game as small as you want it to be, or as big as you want it to be. Have like modular terrain. Have lots of like ancillary sort of rules to it, so like fog of war, which you don't get in board games really, and using supply lines and stuff, like taking into account sort of like old war games and things like that. And I was like to my friends, I was like, we should do this, and they're like, yeah, great idea, but we'll not do that game yet. We'll do something else because that sounds too complicated. And I was like, no way, man. So what we've done is we've moved on. And we've got a couple of card games at Ben's, because Ben obviously works he's a house husband basically at this moment in time, looking after his kids. And he just spends most of his time
That's not an easy job.
It is not an easy job. Looking after his kids, and so he sits there and he does a lot of sort of kind of making card games. So our little gaming group just pings with Ben, going, I've got these ideas, I've got this. And one of the other ideas for the tie-in with Revelations was a sci-fi dungeon crawler a la sort of like Space Crusade and stuff. So like you were saying, you take an already sort of established idea and you try and improve upon it. And we were sort of using the background that I worked out for the strategy game to take us into this sort of kind of dungeon crawler, but the sci-fi version of. And the sci-fi version of will tie into the grand strategy game at some point, if it be by fluff, or if it be by the fact that you can build up certain characters in this game, and you can use them in the other game. But it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like it's going to be hard, and I have a lot of respect for you for doing it and actually going and doing the thing, because a lot of people a lot of people kind of do that whole I'm going to do this, like, all my friends do it, I do it, I'm like, yeah man, I'm totally going to do that, and you're like, you get to one little you get stumbling block and you're like, I don't want to do it anymore, it's too hard.
I got a little you probably heard like rustling and stuff from my end. I was just digging out my copy of Tough Shit by Kevin Smith, life advice from a fat lazy slob who did good. If you will permit me, I will just read you a quick paragraph
In a Kevin Smith voice.
I can't do a Kevin Smith voice. It's so upsetting, believe me. There's a trick to being whatever you want to be in life. It starts with a simple belief that you are what or who you say you are. It starts, like all faiths, with a belief predicated more on whimsy than reality. And you've got to believe for everybody else too until you can show them proof. If you're lucky, someone starts believing with you. First theoretically, then in practice. And two people believing is the start of a congregation. You build a congregation of believers and eventually set out to craft a cathedral. Sometimes it's just a church, sometimes it turns out to be a chapel. Folks who don't build churches will try and tell you how you're doing it wrong, even as your steeple breaks the clouds. Never listen. But before all of that, you've got to start with the idea. And I don't mean the idea for the story, movie, novel, installation, song, podcast, whatever. You've got to start with the idea that you can do this. Something that's not normally done by everyone else. Since it's not second nature to take leaps of faith, you have to motivate yourself. You've got to embrace a reasonable amount of reasonability, because what you're saying is, I'm going to try this thing that very few people attempt, let alone succeed in doing. But nobody else can believe in you if you don't believe in what you're doing. I've willed almost all the stuff I've done into existence, and if I can do that, anybody can do it. So start your chatter. Talk about what you're going to do.
That was really good. And what's that? Yeah. What's that called? Because I might purchase it.
It's honestly fucking get it, because you'll leave going, I'm going to chase all my fucking dreams. It's called Kevin Smith, Tough Shit, Life Advice from a Fat Lazy Slob Who Did Good. It's fucking great. I got it bought for me for Christmas a couple of years ago, and every sort of 6 months I'll have a flick through for a bit of inspiration and go, I can do it, which is really ironic because I've just put up on Twitter that I'm not going to finish my book this year. I might guilt myself now and stay up till 4 in the morning.
You're going to have to do it, Mike. You're gonna have to do it. You know what? There's no sort of structure to this podcast like yesterday. It's maybe a bit more civilized today, but fuck it, let's just carry on.
It's because I've been at work, mate. It's just drained all of my normal rage and soul.
No, I'm not. The thing is, it's a completely different feel than it was yesterday. FYI, everybody, Sean has gone. His internet again, technology has bested him.
He has passed on. He has joined the choir invisible. Yeah, he is an ex-Sean.
He is an ex-Sean. But it frustrates me that I have ideas and they seem really, really sort of like, yes, I fucking want to do that. And then for some reason I get to a blockage and I can't physically get past it. And
do you go to anyone with that?
Yeah, I was about to say, some of the best advice I've ever been given is find a group, put it in front of them. They will give you some very brutal advice on how to get past that block.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It's not even... I think it's personal blockage. Like, I think we were talking about this, Mike. You know, I don't really want to go into a big mental health sort of thing about it and stuff like that. But I have this sort of this inner struggle I get sometimes where I'm just like, I feel like I'll get this sort of like, I'm super like hyped about something. I'll be like, I'm fucking gonna do this, and I'll get really into it and stuff. And then as I slowly move forward, it's like a part of me starts going, you can't do this, or this is going to take too much time, or you're going to start stressing about other things, kind of saying, yeah, you're doing this, but then what about this? And then you get stressed out and other things start happening, and I have to fight through it. And then it gets to a point when it was originally something beautiful and pure and amazing, it turns into something that's stressful, upsetting, and you just hate by the end of it and stuff. Yeah. And it's like... that frustrates the fuck out of me. So
that's creativity, my man.
Yeah, and I just like, that's why when I see people who do things, so when I see that Bevan's done it, or I see my friends, they they do things like Mike, you doing the poetry and stuff. I was well impressed with and stuff, because I've always kind of wanted to stand up and do poetry on stage or something, but I've never been able to. Stuff like that. When I see people who I love doing things like this, it makes me feel good. But it also makes me feel bad because I have to fight through stuff like that myself, and it's hard, and it upsets.
You ever want to feel fucking bad? Follow Richie Yanukovych on any kind of social media. That motherfucker is so productive, it's not fair. It's not fair on anyone else. Because he's the guy that inspired me. I'm like, I'm going to write my fucking book. He did it in a month. I'm going to do it over the course of a year. I've added maybe 3,000 words to the book since January. Like, it's fucking depressing. And he's like, I was just fucking about, and I filmed this
I don't know how he does it, man. He doesn't sleep, but every time it's like he's making a computer game, he's doing website, he's starting web pages, he's writing a book. When we were at whose house were we at when we were at
Phil Matthews.
Yes, Phil's. When we were at Phil's house, he's writing a book, and it's like fucking hell. He's just writing a book. We're sitting there playing fucking Resistance, which is an awesome game, which I'm glad you got me onto, by the way, Mike. But he's sitting there writing the book, and I'm just like, dude, why you're literally amazing at everything, and he follows it through. It's not like he's amazing at everything. He's amazing at everything, and he carries it through and does it. So it's not like, hey man, I'm going to write a book. He fucking writes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, dude gets busy. Like, there's a lot of collaborative projects that I've done with him that kind of at the moment are kind of on the wayside because his day job's got like mental. That's not to discredit him at all. Like, the guy's fucking insanely good. But yeah, it's a case of you just got to do it, and you are going to hate it. That, Matt, is a good sign, right? There's a thing that the Navy SEALs say. And it's a phrase that was taught to me by my friend and sound engineer, Mr. Graham Waller. Embrace the suck. You've got to, when it gets hard, when it gets like shit, when you start to hate it, you've got to be like, I love this. I love the way it sucks. I wish it sucked more. This is fine. This is fucking like, because all you're doing is you're in a room alone with your brain, right? You've just got to go, yeah, and I'm just going to keep doing it. Like, Every good songwriter, every good writer, Neil Gaiman himself has said this. You know, you've just got to put one foot in front of the other, and if that metaphorical foot is you've got to write the song. If it's shit, write it and then throw it out and then write a better one. If it's a terrible novel, you just got to write dross, because then that dross leaves your brain and it's on the page, and then you can write the good stuff. Like, when you hit that blockage, go to friends, get the advice you need, and then just crack on with it. Even if you're only giving like 15 minutes of your day to it. If I gave 15 minutes of my day to my book, I'd have it fucking finished now. You know, what's 15 minutes out of your life?
Bev,
yep.
Do you concur on this?
I use a slightly different technique. Instead of sort of pushing through with the design,
I bathe in the blood of children. Forever.
I destroy them and drink their blood. No, I mean, I totally agree with the whole you've got to keep pushing forward, you've got to keep at something, but I use a slightly different technique. I mean, you described yourself as having sort of 4 or 5 different ideas all at once kind of thing. Yeah. I guess the board game equivalent of Richie is Eric Lang. Now, he's produced board games for Bloodborne, Blood Rage. He's doing one at the moment called Rising Sun. He's just producing hundreds of games at the moment, and he's one of these sort of people that's exactly the same. You know, you love him and you hate him because he's just so productive at what he does and good at it as well. So a technique that designers like himself would use is, if they hit a mental block, is they'll just put it into sort of on the back burner of the brain. And it's something I've started doing myself. I got stuck into a design that was not going anywhere. It was fucking horrendous how much brain power it was using up, and I was beating myself up. It actually got to the point where I was seriously considering Ghostal is the last thing I'm ever going to do. I'm just going to put everything away and just play board games. I'm not going to design any more board games. So what I did was I read around, looked around, and I found this advice of put it on your back burner and look at something else, look at something completely different. And within a week of doing that, I had 3 new ideas. 2 are dross, 2 are utter shite. They've gone back in the bin. But one I'm carrying on with now. And it's strange. You've got to find the technique that works for you. If Neil Gaiman's technique is just write the dross, get that out. Great. It's like bleeding the poison from the wound kind of thing. Yeah. But or you use a technique of back burner it, because the brain will percolate on something in the way. I'm sure eventually that other idea will either evolve or change, or I'll just go, do you know what? I'm not going to get angry about it. I'm just going to bin it. So
because you'll be able to put it through through your own human experience, you're constantly taking in new stuff. So eventually you'll find a schema. You'll find like the perfect bit of light that will hit the prism and make the rainbow, and you'll go, oh shit, yeah, that is beautiful. That is the right light that I should have used, and now I understand that. No, you're absolutely right. And to bolster what you've just said, the guitarist of Bury the Hatchet, Dave, is a great guy, and he does exactly that. When he's writing for Bury the Hatchet, which is kind of like post-hardcorey, metally, screamy nonsense, he will listen to completely the opposite, like really chilled out sort of stuff, whereas I will listen to like death metal. And just I need to get in the zone of it. Whereas if I'm writing for Bellerophon, which is my prog band, you can check them out on.
You're such a promotion whore, Mike.
Then I'm listening to Neil Morse and basically anything that Mike Portnoy's in to kind of get my drum inspiration. goals from him. So I think both techniques are definitely viable. You're right. You've got to find your own groove, but the point is, don't stop. Do not stop. Write it down, Matt. Like, buy yourself a fancy notepad and make that your that thing notepad.
Well, the thing is, I do have like notepads and I write stuff down. I do like my poems and things I put in them, and there's like ideas for games and like songs and stuff. Like whenever I write songs, like, every Saturday morning I wake up and I get my acoustic guitar and I play random stuff. And if I think that's a good riff or something,
your housemate fucking hates you.
Yeah, well, no, because he's half deaf and two, he's generally downstairs watching football. But it's good because he doesn't hear me wanking, so it's okay.
Hey,
but yeah, sorry, I was just thinking this podcast was becoming like the antithesis of what we had yesterday.
It's becoming far too intellectual.
I had to throw some dick in there at some point in time. Yeah, but I've got a book that I write stuff in, and I record everything I do, and I think I do a little bit from A and a little bit from B from time to time, whereas I will, like at band practice, I'm currently trying to write, like, we have a couple of sort of like longish songs, and we always have this thing in every album we do, we've got to write like an epic song, so it's got to be at least 10 minutes long or something. And every time I'm trying to think of the best way of doing it, and I want the last one. And there's one that sort of kind of sticks out from an old EP we had called Destruction of Beauty. It's an amazing song. I love it. It was just destroyed because the drummer at the time decided to use a popcorn snare on a heavy metal song. But yeah, that was just horrible. But anyway, it's a good song, and that's sort of like, I want to beat that one. I want to be better than that one. It's so good, and I get to that point where I'm like, I'm writing something, I'm like, yeah, that's good. And I get the practice, and we play it, and it just doesn't sound right, and I'm just like, and I get really frustrated, and I'm like, I try to fight through it, and I keep on going, and it makes me angry and annoyed. I'm like, I can't do this anymore, I have to stop. But then sometimes what I'll do is, I'll come back, and then I'll just be playing one of the riffs, and my other guitarist will suddenly start playing something else, and it'll be, that's it, that's fucking it, and it'll just happen naturally.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, and that, so yeah, I think you're right. A little bit from A and a little bit from B.
I think you when band practices are actually quite kind of high pressure ideas, especially when you're especially when you're writing, because you're thinking, fuck, we're on the clock, which is, so I propose like writing sessions and stuff, so you just come over. But also something that I've wanted to do for a long time is, loads of my mates play instruments. You don't have to be in a band to go to a practice space. For 40 quid, you can go somewhere for 4 hours that's got instruments, and you can just make a noise. And I've really wanted to, for the longest time, just literally ask a load of mates, when are you free at this time? Let's just jam. Because that's nothing productive has to come of it, but maybe something will come of it. And I think that kind of free form, relaxed environment is probably what you need, mate.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's just general. My head is just literally just ideas all over the place. I want to do this, and this. And to be honest, I've been bollocked in work because I get so distracted so easily and stuff. I'm just like, I'll be sitting there and I'll be doing a report, and then I'll suddenly go, holy shit, I could do this and I could do this, and I start thinking about a game I could be writing, or something I could be writing for the site, or something I could be editing, or a photograph I could be taking, or a song I could be writing, and I'm just sitting there, and it's so hard to kind of focus myself back to where I should be, and it's just like, fuck. Thing is, I don't dislike it. I like the fact that I have all these ideas and things going on, because it makes me feel good when I have ideas. But conversely, it can be detrimental to average day life because you aren't as focused as you probably should be. Yeah.
Inspiration tends to hit when you're
you're
doing something else.
That's the thing. Yeah, your brain is kind of confused not confused, but there's a certain part of your brain that if you let it focus on the mundanity, then your brain will make weird, like, left field connections. It's why whenever I'm thinking about anything at length, I end up tapping, because drumming is like my jam. That's how I sort of move, and I think most creatively probably when I'm doing some sort of rhythm. So there will be some sort of rhythm that I start hitting out, and I'm doing it subconsciously, but that's sort of going, right, that part of Mike's brain, you need to go and look at these, like, go and look at that dog with a fluffy towel for a minute while the subconscious and the conscious have a bit of a mingling, and then you go, billboard salesman in the future where everything's been destroyed. What? Oh, all right, yeah, cool, write that down. That kind of shit.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think we're maybe going to have to end it soon. We don't really have enough time for recommendations, though.
You've been listening to Behind the Creative Studio with Mike Orvis, Bevan. I've forgotten your second name. I'm really sorry.
I need to come up with something cool. XCOM.
Bevan XCOM.
Yeah.
And Matthew Garai.
Before we leave, Mike, you've got to
Yeah.
do the announcer thing because it was rather amusing.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Oh.
I've got to find my phone. I've lost my.
We did enter
telephone is-
Enter Sandman yesterday, but we got to think of a better song. Let's
Right. Okay. I've got my phone. I'm ready.
let's go for.
Do you want what kind of announcer voice do you want?
Sort of kind of teeny bopper. No, success story movie. So it's a guy who's like down and out, but he makes it big.
So any Tom Cruise film really, he's a pretty good pilot, and then he has a crisis of identity.
Yeah, crisis of confidence.
That's
Then a woman shows him the error of his ways. He falls in love and then goes, all right.
Okay, what song are we going to go for? We're going to go for...
In a world. I'm just practicing. This summer. Okay, cool. I'm ready.
what song are we going to go for?
My balls are itchy. Okay, yeah, no, I'm good.
What's that one by Adele? Hello.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Adele.
Oh, I quite like that song.
Yeah. Have you heard the Frogleat Studios version of it? The guy the guy in YouTube who does all the heavy metal covers of normal songs. It's called Frogleat Studios, I think. And he's like this Norwegian guy or something, and he plays the drums, plays guitar, he does the singing. They're amazing. He does.
He's a wanker.
He does
guy.
he does a Hello by Adele, and it's quality.
Okay.
He's got this English guitars. He's really good as well. But yeah.
Cool. Look into it.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet, to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. There's a difference between us and a million miles. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything I've done. But when I call you, you never seem to be home. Hello from the outside.
Nice.
Bravo. Very good. Right. So on that, I think we're going to leave it. We've had a good one. Obviously the dead weight left. Sean, I feel so bad for him. He's had some serious problems. There's always something going wrong with technology in him when it comes to podcast. He's all like, yeah, let's do this again, and his internet doesn't work, or he's not recording his bloody podcast, or it corrupted. But anyway, yes. So I have been Matt Geary.
I have been Michael Orvis.
I've been Bevan XCOM.
Night, guys.
Good night.